Hello and welcome to our webinar. I'd like to welcome our listeners around Australia. My name's Joe Tadaro, Advisor Education Analyst at North, and I'm going to be taking you through the latest round of enhancements we've made to the North platform. Today, we'll introduce you to the changes that were delivered late last year that will help you to reduce transacting times and your overall cost to serve with using the North platform. Changes to Switch Investments now provide you with the ability to display an estimate of one-off and ongoing fees should a proposed switch be completed, along with downloading a record of advice data which will help you to complete your ROA template associated with an investment switch. These changes follow a complete re-engineering of the Switch Investment screen on North Online earlier in 2020. We would like to say a big thanks to all the advisors who have provided us with a huge amount of ongoing feedback and direction, as this feedback has led to these enhancements that you'll see today. It has never been more important to ensure that we're delivering new and important solutions to support you, your business, and your clients. As I mentioned, we're confident these changes will help to reduce transacting times and your overall cost to serve with using the North platform. If you've joined us before, you'll know that you can ask questions at any time during the session on the left-hand side menu within the chat icon. We'll endeavour to get back to you upon the conclusion of the session. I will also collate a list of the questions and answers and email them out to all of you, along with a copy of this presentation pack, so there's no need to be frantically scribing the information down. I'll get it all out for you. If for any reason the audio drops out, please close your browser and then reopen the session, and that should fix it for you. If you're still having technical difficulties, this session, as always, will be recorded and then uploaded to North Online under support and training videos for you to review or to refer to a colleague. Let's take a look on North Online and I'll show you where that recording will be stored. So here we are on North Online. If you head to the top looking for support menu option, head down to training videos, and then at training videos, scroll down the page and we're looking for webinar recordings, and this is where this recording will be uploaded. I'd also encourage you to review our webinar recording from earlier in 2020 in regards to Switch Investment enhancements. Also, for the latest and up-to-date information, please visit our news and announcements on North Online for key information under support and news and announcements. Today, I'll introduce you to the exciting changes. You'll get a glimpse of the new features and learn their application on North Online. We'll also provide a system demonstration to see the changes in action. We'll finish our session today with the support tools you can take back with you into your practice. So without any further delay, let's delve into those enhancements. So I'd like to introduce you to the improvements to North in two key areas that we have delivered, each of which I'll take you through comprehensively today. The first is the new proposed fee tab to the Switch Investment screen, which displays an estimate of one-off and ongoing fees. And the second is the availability to download an ROA data, which helps you complete an ROA associated with an investment switch. So the question is, why have we delivered these enhancements? Well, we know that the switches are the most common transaction completed on North Online, and it has never been more important in 2020 due to market volatility, which was attributed to COVID-19. We're also building on the Switch Investments screen enhancements. As I mentioned, we delivered early in 2020, and we've also received some great feedback, and we want to continue assisting your business in reducing cost to serve and mitigating those business risks. It is predominantly the feedback from advisors and support staff like you out there requesting enhancements that would be most beneficial to your business. Like the feedback that you can see on your screen, we are wanting to make your lives easier, save you time, create efficiency, and I'm going to say it again, reduce your cost to serve. So let's get started and take a look at the first of those enhancements. The new proposed fees tab within the Switch Investment screen now sits alongside the new proposed investment holdings implemented in August last year. So this is what the new tab looks like, which sits alongside the Switch Investments and Proposed Investments Holdings tab. A new Proposed Fees tab to the Switch Investment screen will display an estimate of one-off and ongoing fees should a proposed switch be completed. So now let's talk about those key features. The Proposed Fees tab will show current annual fees as well as proposed annual fees after the switch investment has been completed. And those fees include account fees, administration fees, investment costs, guarantee fees, and also transaction fees associated with the switch. The proposed fees will automatically take into account individual client fee caps and discounts related to being party of a family group. That is, however, excluding situations where the family group exceeds the family fee caps. So for example, if you have a husband and a wife in a family fee group, it won't take into consideration the order of which the fees are deducted. Modeling of different investment switch scenarios is made easy with the ability to compare current and proposed fees as well as current and proposed asset allocation, which is already available on the Proposed Investment Holdings tab. Outputs can be saved for future reference. What does that mean for you in your practice? It means there's no more paperwork. Within the new Proposed Fees tab, there are 4 key sections. The first is Proposed Ongoing Fee Summary Bubble, which includes fees such as the account fee, and that won't change as a result of the switch request, the admin fee and investment management costs, which will depend on the investment you select to switch into, and then totals the ongoing fees. The second section entails the proposed ongoing fee into an estimate table breakdown, which displays the individual investment's proposed value and calls out the fee percentage rate and dollar amount. It will break down the fees into each investment by administration fee, investment cost per annum, and transaction fees. The transaction fees will break down the buy and sell costs for managed funds and brokerage for equities if applicable. The third section will display the current and proposed fees in dollar value in a table and graph along with the change. The graphic gives you the visual reflection of these changes. The last section reflects the one-off fees such as brokerage and buy and sell cost summary along with the chart. All fees and taxes are estimates only. The actual amount charged may vary as a result of the information outlined at the bottom of the Proposed Fees tab and other individual factors. We'll focus on each of these key sections in a moment's time. So let's focus on the proposed ongoing fee bubble. The fee bubble is presented at the top of this new tab and summarizes the estimated ongoing fees as a result of the proposed switch. The guarantee fee bubble only is displayed if applicable. Family fee group value listed here if the switch is being performed on an account that is part of a family fee group, and that wording is not displayed for clients for privacy reasons. The proposed ongoing fees breakdown table provides a breakdown of all remaining proposed investments if the switch is executed. So let's have a look in more granular detail. Each proposed investment will be displayed directly below the relevant subheading, except for the cash account, which will contain all info in a single row. The proposed value will display the end state of all remaining assets after the proposed full or partial switch. A question mark beside the admin fee heading will display the minor admin rate table when hovered over. For other column headings, an exclamation of the column will display when question marks are hovered over. Where the administration fee is above the fee cap, the full fee before the discount will be displayed. A question mark beside the discounted amount will explain the actual fee charged when hovered over. Where a managed portfolio is on the account, the estimated indirect cost will be displayed in the investment cost column, and that's in line with the managed portfolio PDS. A new button will allow information in this table only to be downloaded. The proposed one-off fees table will display estimated brokerage and buy and sell costs. The combined buy and sell costs are only calculated at the time of purchase, and this is consistent with the default setting on X-Plan, total on buy. If you are selling, the buy and sell costs will show a $0 amount, and I'm going to be talking about this a little bit more in depth in a few moments' time. Also to call out that the buy-sell cost total is currently displaying as unavailable at the moment in the proposed fees tab, as well as in the ROA data download, but we'll be fixing this by the end of February 2021. So let's talk about the buy-sell costs in detail. As mentioned, the combined buy-sell costs displayed in the proposed fees tab are only calculated at the time of purchase. So this is aligned with the default setting on X-Plan. As demonstrated in the table, buy and sell costs are only displayed where there is a purchase or buy, not when there is a sell. So in this example, we are purchasing North Professional Balanced and BlackRock Global Allocation Fund for $100,000. We are also selling AMP Capital Wholesale Australian Bond Fund and iShares Global Bond Index Fund. As you can see, the buy-sell costs are only reflected when purchasing. So now let's look at an example reflecting the new switch screen. In this scenario, Kate is an advisor and is on the phone to a client that can't decide between two switch options. Does that scenario sound familiar out there? Her client is fee sensitive and has asked Kate to look at various switch options. So what should Kate do? Well, Kate will be able to enter different switch scenarios in the switch investment screen and then select the new proposed fees tab screen to view estimated one-off and ongoing fees associated with the switch. Kate can even download the proposed fees breakdown table for each switch option and then carry out some switch comparisons. What are some of those benefits? Well, Kate can easily compare switch options in real time so that she can then discuss them with her client on the spot based upon those estimates. There's no more manual paperwork required as Kate can save the data downloads to her client file. These new features and estimates will save Kate time and thus reducing her cost to serve. So now let's jump onto North Online so you can see the changes close up.
So here we are back onto North Online and we're within a client's account to examine the switch investment screen. So how do we get there? Going across the top, looking for Manage Investments, down to Switch Investments. So now we're within the client's switch investment screen, and you can see three tabs across the top. The first is the current tab that we're on, which is the switch instructions that we're going to be entering. The second is the proposed investment holdings tab, and that was a part of the changes that were implemented earlier this year, which gives you the ability to make changes on your client account and have a look at those changes before you even submit on the client account. So we'll look at that in a couple of moments' time. And the third is the all new proposed fees tab. So let's have a look at all of this in action. So we've got the Magellan Fund across the top. Let's sell out of that $2,000. And what we want to do is we want to buy into the MyNorth Index balance. So we're going to put $2,000 there. So selling out of one fund, buying into the other. So what effects will that have? So firstly, let's look at the proposed investment holdings. We'll select that. So you notice that we've got the current and the proposed holdings as well as the change. So now let's focus on the proposed fees. So we're clicking to the proposed fees. And as you can see, we've got the account fee, the administration fee, the investment manager costs, and the total ongoing fees. So as a result of this particular switch that we're undertaking, the administration fee will be, we've got $74.49. Then we've got the investment management costs and then the ongoing fees. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back and we're going to make a change to this to show you the differences. So note that the administration fee is based upon the total portfolio value. So all fees and taxes are their estimates only, of course, and the amount charged may vary as a result of information that we've got that will scroll down in a couple of moments' time. So within that fee table, we've got the proposed fees breakdown. So again, that is lumped together according to the investment types. We've got cash at the top, managed funds, then listed securities, depending on the changes that you're making. So this particular change was the sale of one managed fund to another. You can notice that we've got Magellan, we're selling out of that, and we're buying into the North Index. So we've got the admin fees breakdown. We've also got the percentages as well, and what that investment is according to the fee type for that particular investment. So the three fees that we've got outlined here are all choice menu options under the My North investment menu fees. We've got them as the fee rate, as a percentage. We've also got it as a dollar amount as well. It's really handy. But we mentioned earlier in our session that if you hover over the question mark and you select it, it will show you the fee table that will show the fees that are associated with those investments. So really handy. You don't have to flip back to the PDS or go out of the screen, go to the PDS, check the fees. North is just making it easier and easier for you to reduce your cost to serve. So looking at this, really great information in that table there. We're going to kick across. We're looking at the investment costs. So of course, they're going to be different per managed fund that you're looking at. So we've got the differences between the two there. And the amounts, of course, as a percentage and as a dollar amount. I'm going to hover over the question mark, and it will talk a little bit about the managed fund indirect costs. And then we've got the transaction fees. So you'll notice on this side here, we've got for the buy, remember we spoke about that in depth earlier. For the buy, it outlines the amount. There's no brokerage, of course, because this is a managed fund, but we've got the buy-sell costs that are lumped together in the buy, and we don't have anything in the sell, as you notice there. And if you hover over the question mark as well, it gives you information regarding that. I'll scroll down just a touch, and you can see the proposed ongoing fees. So we've got a table as well as a graphic on the left-hand side of your screen there. So we've got the current account fee, current proposed and the changes. You notice that that doesn't change. And then we've got the administration fee. So it does actually slightly change there. So we've got the current, the proposed, which actually, declines a little bit. And we've got the percent and the dollar amount of the change. And then we've got the investment management costs. So it is a reduction as a result of this switch that we're just carrying out there. So remember, if you're on the phone to your client who's fee sensitive, you can say, yep, and they want to switch investments, you can say to them, well, let's have a look at a couple of these different managed funds, and you can compare the fees between each. So we've done that just there. Then we've got a graphic that shows the current and proposed fees. It's really great. We'll hover over that. It shows you the percentage amount. Then over on the right-hand side of the screen, we've got the proposed one-off fees. So when we're talking those one-off fees, we're talking that buy-sell cost. Remember, that is at the time of the buy, and that's highlighted as $4.40 there. We've also got a bit of a graphic there too as well. So as we mentioned at the bottom of the page, we're talking about the fees are subject to change because all fees and taxes are estimates only based upon the current proposed value of your investments calculated today, so as of today. And those figures should only be used as a guide, and the actual amount charges may change. And we mentioned earlier the family fee capping has not been applied to the admin rate. So therefore, this account is a part of the family group and the total fees agreed outside that cap. So it doesn't take into consideration the sequencing or when the fees are applied in terms of those caps. Talks a little bit about investment costs as well, and I'll let you read through all of these too. So we're going to scoot back up the top of the screen because we're going to flick back to the switch screen. We're going to go back to the switch instruction. We're going to make a couple of changes. So the client has changed their mind. They don't want the North Index balance, My North Index balance. Let's scroll down a touch, and they want to buy some listed securities. So a couple of ETFs that we've got there. So this particular client wants $1,000. This particular ETF and $1,000 in the Vanguard Australian Shares Index. So what we're going to do now is we're going to scoot up a touch now, and we're going to look at the proposed investment holdings. So remember we examined that earlier. So we're highlighting the changes to the portfolio for current, proposed, and the change. And you go to the new proposed fees tab that's coming soon. Let's see what the changes are now. So the admin fee hasn't changed there. So the account fee hasn't changed, but the administration fee has changed, investment management costs, and the ongoing fees as well, the total of those. And if we look a little bit further down, in terms of that breakdown, it will tell you about the percentages and the changes there. So we're looking at those two ETFs. We've got the percentage changes there for the administration fee rate and dollar amounts. And then moving across, we've got transaction fees. So notice before when we had two managed funds, there was no brokerage included in that, but there was the buy-sell cost there. So we've got brokerage at $34 for each of these. If we scoot down just a touch, it'll tell you about the changes that are being made, talks about the current and proposed and the change for the account fee, admin fee, and the investment management costs as well. So slightly down, we've got the current and proposed graphs. And then over this side, it's going to be totaling the $234 brokerage for each of those two equities. And the totals out to $68 just there. And we've got the graphic that's on there as well. So lots of information at your disposal. And you can keep flicking back. So the good thing about this is you can flick back to your switch instruction, make some changes, and head back to proposed fees. And you notice that it only took me a couple of seconds to do that. So very, very easy. And then once you're happy with it, if you're still on the phone to your client, what you can do is just hit the download CSV. So you can download that to CSV, keep it on file, make the changes, flick back, or you can take a screenshot, however you'd like to do it. But we've got the download CSV button, which is really handy. So let's go ahead and select that button to show you what it will look like. So convert to CSV file. We'll open up that file there. So it just shows the download of all the information that was available on your screen. So you can keep that handy there on your file there, save it to the client file, or you could flick back and make some further changes, if desired, of course. So what we're going to do, if we're happy with these changes that we're making, on North Online, like everything, we're going to proceed. So we're going to scroll all the way down for the client. We're going to select Next. We're heading to the investment instructions screen. We're now within the client's standing investment instructions. So the changes that we're making on the account will ask that if you can, review this information and will affect the investments if you already have them in your automatic buy, sell, and rebalance profiles. You might want to tweak those funds, remove them, put the new funds in, or just review this information. And to do that, you just scroll down your screen. To keep scrolling, you can see the automatic buy, sell, and rebalance profiles. So if we were going to remove a particular fund from this list and add to it, what we're going to do is we're going to remove Magellan from this particular buy profile. I'm going to zero it out. I'm going to also zero it out from the rebalance profile as well. So it'll automatically tell you that the profile only is up to 92.5%. We need to add the remaining amount. So let's do that now. So we've just made those changes. We're going to keep scrolling down. And we're going to hit Next to proceed to the pre-submit documentation screen. So now we're at the pre-submission documentation screen. And before we proceed with this request, we'll learn a little bit more about some of the changes that are coming that you can probably already see on your screen there, and we'll revisit this in a couple of moments' time.
Now I'd like to introduce you to the second enhancement that we have delivered, the ability to download ROA data, which will help you to complete an ROA associated with an investment switch. It's all about making your lives easier, saving time, creating efficiency, and thus reducing your cost to serve. So let's take a look at the new Download ROA Data button. The new Data button on the pre-submission screen will enable a data extract to be downloaded once a switch is ready for submission. Any changes made on the Switch Investments and Investment Instructions screen will be captured within this data export. The Download ROA button will always provide today's ROA data estimates. This download will contain data estimates supporting the completion of a switch relating to the ROA, including general information, including the client advisor name, account number, the summary of the changes, buy and sell instructions, the proposed asset allocation, and the fees breakdown. Pressing the Download ROA Data button will provide today's ROA data, and the CSV download will include the date that it was downloaded. So I'm going to come back to this page in our demonstration in a couple moments' time. Once you click on the Download ROA Data button, the following data will be listed. The first is the summary of the changes. Notice that it has the current value, the buy and the sell amount, including the proposed amount for the holdings. The second is the buy and sell instructions. So it will summarize your minimum cash balance and the target cash balance, including the automatic sell instructions that are listed in this example there. It will then list the investments within the buy and sell instructions, the buy allocation, the sell allocation, and rebalance. The third is the proposed asset allocation. And then finally, looking at the fees breakdown on the document. And that will include the account fee, admin fee, investment costs, as we've talked about, transaction fees, including brokerage if applicable, and buy and sell costs. Note that the buy and sell amount will display as unavailable until the end of February 2021. So now let's look at an example using the ROA Data button. So in this scenario, Kate's client had to think about the different switch options that she'd earlier provided and got back to her with a decision a few days later. Kate is now just about to submit the switch. She's at the pre-submission screen and is about to start completing the ROA for her client. So what should Kate do? Well, now that the switch is ready to go, Kate can select the Download ROA Data button and use the information provided in the data download to complete her ROA. And of course, the benefits. By using the data estimates in the download to complete her ROA, Kate will save a significant amount of time and thus reducing her cost to serve. So let's jump back onto North Online, looking at our switch transaction as we're on this pre-submission page. So here we are back on North Online, and we're on page number 3 of the Switch Investments request, the pre-submit documentation page. So at this stage, you can either select Save to Resume to come back to your activity at another time, or alternatively, you can proceed with submitting the request and selecting the Download ROA Data button, which we'll do in a couple of moments' time. So firstly, if you were to save to resume, go ahead and select Save to Resume from down the bottom. You'll then be able to go back into that Save to Resume activity by going back into the client profile and selecting Activities and Activity Management. Once in Activity Management, under the heading Not Submitted, you'll find your activity which has not yet been submitted. So to proceed back into the activity, select the plus icon and select on the right-hand side, Go to Activity. So now we're back within the pre-submission documentation screen, and I'd like to introduce you to the Download ROA Data button, which is here on the right-hand side. Let's go ahead and select the button. Once the Excel spreadsheet has been loaded, at the top of the page, you'll notice that it has an estimated proposed portfolio after switch as of today's particular date. Please note the limitations of the data outline at the bottom of the page as well. It will then list the client details, including their name, account number, the current account balance, and yourself as the advisor. Further down, we actually have the summary of the changes. So those changes highlight the investment, the current holding that is within the account, the buy amount, and the sell amount. The sell amount is denoted by a red color, and then the final column has the proposed amount, the proposed holdings after you have completed the switch transaction. So let's scroll down the page to look at the proposed buy and sell instructions. The proposed buy and sell instructions will detail the investment instructions that you've nominated within the account. If you had made changes to the client automatic buy and sell and rebalance instructions on page number 2 of the switch request, these changes will be reflected here. So let's look a little bit further down the page to the proposed asset allocation. The proposed asset allocation lists the funds, the current percentages within the portfolio, and then importantly, the proposed percentages, and then the change. So the changes that you're making in terms of a percentage amount. So now let's scroll down the page to look at the all-important fees on the account. By looking at the proposed fees on the account within this button, you'll notice that we have the account fee, administration fee, and investment management costs. It will show the dollar amount, the percentage of the total, and then the proposed amount. So in terms of the proposed amounts, we have no change to the account fee, and we have also no change to the administration fee. However, there is, for this example, a change to the investment management costs. And that is reflected in red by the dollar change, and then further to the percentage change as well. Further down the page, under fees, you'll notice that we have the transaction fees, or one-off fees. We have the brokerage that is listed for the 2 equities that we are purchasing, but then we also have the buy-sell costs, currently reading as unavailable, and as I mentioned earlier, this will be rectified by the end of February. In further detail to the fees, we also then further down the page list the proposed fees with the dollar amounts, the percentage of the total, the investment cost per annum, and the investment management costs as a percentage. So now let's scroll a little bit further down the page to read the important information. We ran through a few of these earlier within our switch request, and it is important to take note of all of this important information. One key call out under fees as the first point is that all fees and taxes are estimates only based off the current and proposed value of investments as calculated today. So the figures should only be used as a guide and not the actual charges that will be made. And it's very important that if you have selected the Download ROA Data button, hit Save to resume to come back to this activity again in the near future. Once you do go back into the activity, whenever you're ready to proceed, important if you want to recalculate this data for that particular day, to select the button again, and it will then update with the correct and true information for that particular day. I'll also let you familiarize yourself with the other important pieces of information. Just before we close this particular spreadsheet, we'll head back onto North Online. So let's go ahead and close the document and we'll head back onto North Online. So now back onto North Online, and as I mentioned, if you had saved this activity to resume and then come back to it on another day, if you wanted to refresh that data, you would simply go back and select Download ROA Data button again to refresh the information. So now at this stage, if you're looking to proceed with the request, the only thing left to do is to open the 2 documents to the left-hand side, and we'll start with the transaction request. So let's open up that document now. So the document has popped up, and of course it details the client details and the transaction instructions that you've inputted just before within the activity. So we're selling and we're buying, of course, and then we have the declaration and signature, which the client would need to sign and date. Now, as you're submitting this request on North Online, North will not require the signed copy to be either sent into the North Service Center or uploaded to the client account, but you may need to keep it on file in reference with your own licensee agreements. So I'll go ahead and close this document. The other remaining document that I will need to at least open before proceeding with the request is the account details authorization. So let's open up that document now. So I've opened up the account details authorization form, and I'm going to scroll down the page to the changes that I made within the client's investment instructions. Those investment instructions are listed on page number 2 of this document. So notice the changes are highlighted in a bold color. So let's keep scrolling down the page. We're on the final page, which is the declaration and signature page. This is where you'd need to obtain the member signature as well as the date. And note again that North will not require the signed copy of this document or uploading the document to North Online, but of course you may need to keep this on file according to your licensee agreement. So let's go ahead and close this document again. So at this stage, if you're ready to proceed with this switch request, you'll simply tick the boxes to confirm. The Submit button will become available for you to select, and go ahead and select the Submit button. Note that once you do submit this request, the Download ROA Data button will not become available for this particular request, and you won't be able to find that data again once you've submitted the request. So let's go ahead and submit. So once submitted, North Online takes you back to the client's account within the snapshot screen. So to monitor the progress of a switch request, scroll down the page to the account summary to view the investments that are pending a fund manager confirmation. Investments that are pending a fund manager confirmation will be denoted by a red dot. You can also visit activities within the client account. So select activities, and the activity will there be in your activities in progress. So we hope that you have enjoyed this demonstration of the ROA Data button as an up-close view on North Online. This now concludes our demonstration, and we'll finish up with some support tools to take back with you into your practice. I'd now like to provide you with the tools to help support you and your practice. Let's look at the support that is available. The Switch North Online How-To Guide has been updated, and I'll show you where that is on North Online. So here we are back onto North Online, and we're looking for the support heading just across the top, and this time head down to Training Resources. Under Training Resources, you'll notice there are step-by-step guides on transacting on most things on North Online, and we're looking for how to switch investments. And that document has been updated. So just opening up that document, you'll notice that we've got lots of information that is available to you. I'll scroll down, how to complete an investment switch. And as I mentioned earlier before, this webinar will be published on North Online under support and training videos. And I showed you how to do that at the top of our session today, as well as the Education Hub for future reference if you'd like to review the material or refer a colleague. Also, your BDM and the North Service Centre have been trained on the enhancements, so you can contact the North Service Centre either by phone or chat. North Chat is available to you, and you can chat with a friendly, experienced North Service Centre consultant. Anything you ask on the phone, you can ask during a chat session. Upon the conclusion of your chat session, you can also ask for a transcript if desired, and they'll forward that over to you for your record. We also have an FAQ on enhancements available from the product journal. And finally, there is a walkthrough pop-up that appears the first time you log on to North Online with those changes. We do have important information as a disclaimer, as this publication has been prepared for distribution to professional financial advisors only and is intended to provide general information. So I'll let you have a look at the rest of that disclosure. Please keep your questions coming through if you haven't sent us a question already. As a reminder, on the left-hand side menu, select the chat icon and type in a question. We'll respond to you within the next 24 to 48 hours. We'll also keep our webinar running for a couple minutes more at the end of the session to ensure that you have the time to enter your questions. And as I mentioned earlier, that we will collate all of the questions with their answers and get them out to you all, along with a copy of this pack that we went through today, upon the conclusion of this session. Please stay online to answer the following quick survey questions. We're always looking to improve North to reduce your cost to serve and make enhancements. As mentioned, your feedback has been integral to the changes that you've seen today and certainly will do well into the future. I'd like to thank you all very much for your attendance today and support of the North platform as we deliver new and important solutions to you, your business, and your clients. Changes that will help reduce your overall cost to serve with using the North platform. We think that you'll like all of these changes. From me, Joe Tadaro, it's goodbye for now and hoping to see you in another session soon.